Are we ready to go?
Hit the button. Cue music.
This is the Long in the Boot podcast, the podcast coming to you from the heel of the boot of Southwest Louisiana. I am your host, G Long, and across the way is Deb.
Hi, all.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you.
It is great to see you.
Yeah. I know. Every 2 weeks.
Always.
I know.
Yes, we have a bi-monthly.
A bi-monthly date.
Yes. To talk.
To talk.
To talk. And if other people listen.
Chew the fat.
See, now you've ruined it already. All right, cut it off. Shut it down. I'm done.
To rap.
Chit chat.
To have a give and take.
Oh, there you go. All right, so it's date day. So you're going to give the people the stats and the deets?
Well, I don't have any stats, really.
Okay, well, you got deets.
I do have deets. If you'd like to reach the Long in the Boot podcast, as so many have, it is
every day.
Email address is longinttheboot@gmail.com, and the phone number to where you can vent to your heart's content is 337-502-9011. And if you're some kind of spam purveyor, don't call that number. Keep it to yourself. I don't need your darned guarantee.
Honestly, I don't want your venting either.
I don't want any of it.
I get it from
calling my number.
I get it from my students.
Your car warranty is about to expire. Ha, joke's on you. We drive so much it's already expired. Go away. Anyway.
Teenagers vent a lot.
Obviously, we did have an email issue with one Mrs. Barfsnard and her.
Yes.
And again, I just want to defend the HR department of the Long in the Boot staff.
They try.
And the idea that they would accuse our dogs of driving our Jeep to their house and leaving flaming dog poop on their front porch, knocking, and then driving away really quickly is ridiculous.
Malicious.
They would never do that.
It's just malicious gossip.
And we don't let them drive after 10 o'clock at night, so it couldn't have been them.
I bet that woman got a Ring doorbell after all that.
Probably so. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And by the way, dogs also can't flip people off. Their paws don't allow it, so.
Okay, there you go.
So, anyway.
Disclaimer done.
That's right.
All right, G Long. So what's up?
Man, we got all kinds of weird stuff happening this week. We had the coronation.
Yeah, the coronation happened.
Coronation was fun.
And the Kentucky Derby in the same day.
Yeah,
I was a little put off by that. I didn't realize.
And 7 horse murders before the
4 had been at the Kentucky Derby stables, and now it's a total. No, it's another stable as well where they have, I don't know.
Well, I think the problem is the person in charge, I believe, of the horses at Kentucky Churchill Downs in Kentucky, there where they have the race. A guy named Murdaugh, who was let out of prison to take care of the horses. And I think maybe that's the problem.
All right. He didn't harm his dogs or his horses.
No, he just murdered his wife and child.
Okay. Man, I don't even know where you went. That was all just unplanned.
Unplanned.
It's not attractive.
Yeah. Not at all. And you know what else isn't attractive?
What?
The Murdaughs. Ginger freaks.
This is true. Oh, don't put down the redheads.
No, I'm not putting down the redheads. I'm putting down those specific redheads.
Because our community, there might be gingers, and we love you all.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. We love our community.
We love our listening community.
Yes, we do. All right. So do we have a serious topic this week, or are we going to go take it light? I think we took it light last week, too.
We did take it light.
And it did seem to improve our numbers.
And again,
which are doing pretty steady.
Apologies for the title of last week's episode.
But don't worry. I feel it happening again.
I'll do better.
I know you'll do better. I feel it happening again.
I can feel it coming.
I had read there is and this is a strange.
Wait, I didn't get to finish my coronation story about the right before the day before.
I'm not really
the Crescent, which is this big giant lawn where they were going to have this big gathering of I don't know, snobby people.
Well, no, it was people there to watch the coronation. It was a very inclusive
This
event.
thing was
in the lawn.
This thing is not inclusive. This is very exclusive.
Oh, this is part
and
of
the lawn where they were going to have this giant gathering. Somebody got out in the middle of the night and mowed the grass
with a giant
schlong. And I just want to say, first of all, that was terrible.
Kudos.
I can't believe somebody would do that, and well done,
well played.
you.
Nobody heard. Nobody stopped you.
It's a perfect prank.
Or it was an inside job, and many people were involved.
A perfect princely prank, Harry.
Well, he was in town.
He was in town.
We know he was sitting back there. We saw him. He was in town. So, yes. All right. We did get up and watch it. Our power went out. We had storms come through.
On the cell phone.
We started on the phone, and then just before the actual coronation, just the first crown.
And do I think it's important? Not really.
No, there was lots of interesting history.
But I've never seen a coronation.
No, and there was there are lots of implements, tools of the time that were ancient.
Have been there for a really once Westminster Abbey's been 1066 was the first coronation.
Yeah,
and that was when the French took over England. We won't talk about that. Well, let's face it, you're French. You'd like to think you're English.
Maybe not.
Anyway, but yeah, that thing's been around a while, and of course you've got the coronation throne, which is that lovely wooden chair,
the wooden one that they worked
so
on.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. I mean, they did really work on cleaning it up and
it was
bringing it up to
pouring
date.
Down rain.
Pouring down rain. Typical.
I'm sure a lot of people are sick today because it was also cold.
Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah. We watched it from the comfort of our home when the power came back on. It was awesome.
Oh, and thank you, BECI, for being so quick and prompt.
No doubt. They really have gotten pretty good about that.
Man, they rock.
Stepped it up.
Oh.
Good job, boys. Woo.
Since 93 when we moved here.
Oh, dear God.
I'd belch and the power would go out.
All right. So technology and time has improved so much. Where I was going was I had read a German-Korean philosopher. That's the mix.
What?
He's German and Korean.
There's a different species.
Byung-Chul Han. And he says,
Schmidt.
He says, well, and I think this kind of connects to what we were going to talk about today, that modern aesthetics today don't tolerate any bit of ugliness.
Right.
That we prefer to have all things smooth and frictionless. And he cites things like, phones and our technology and all of that, and how we prefer to have them just that way. And today's topic, that's how we kind of got on.
But it creates friction, though. That's the thing that I don't get. For Americans to say we want frictionless, we don't really, or we would live that way.
Well, it's what we see, and also I guess what you touch, but that's the idea. But because everything else in our society causes friction. Yeah. So in our things, we'd like them smooth and beautiful. Kim Kardashian's face.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that what all those filters do on the phone? They smooth you out. They make it so that you look.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Unnatural.
Well, definitely unnatural,
well,
and it also causes all kinds of problems for people that have.
So we have to define beauty.
We do. We need to define beauty, and
is that the idea?
And we have defined the modern sensibility of what's beauty, because we know it has changed dramatically over the years. And one of the things, though, that no one's ever really focused on, I think, is the problem. And in fact,
because we rank women, she's a 10.
Oh, she's
she's a 6.
Women are the ones who pioneered the idea.
Oh, absolutely.
That all of your parts are fixable.
Everything is disguisable or
but
fixable.
Just like with fashion, it was men that pioneered the actual mechanics of it.
Well, sure, because everything that women did was in guise of making men look.
The first time some woman said, "Can you make my tits bigger?" There was a guy going, "Well, I can do that. Hang on, I got the tools to do that. That's a good idea."
Well, that's technology, yeah. But just even before that, women are going to stuff their bras. They're going to,
bras again. There's a man.
A brassiere. I used that word the other day, and a kid was like, "A what?" I said, "A brassiere." What? So I wrote the word on the board.
What you cook meat on.
And then I took my hand and I covered it, and it's like, oh, a bra. Yes. We got to shorten everything. So
it's always been men, though, behind these things.
I broached the topic at the end of the last episode, I think, about manscaping.
Vaguely. We were talking about a cream.
Yes, many of them.
To remove unsightly wrinkles.
Sprays and gels and creams, for the scrotum, because that has become a huge industry now.
It's turning into one.
It is.
Weirdly enough.
In the last 15 years, it has just exploded.
Now, first of all, can we all agree that the one part of the male anatomy that really we could have just stayed away from, we didn't need to go there.
Well, you can say that, but it's the sack
scrotum.
of life. It's where life. Well, it is. So you can laugh if you want.
Put all your troubles in an old flesh bag and smile, smile, smile.
You can stuff your sorries in a sack, sir.
A sack? Well, I happen to have one.
All right. So the idea, of course, is to make money for these companies, but they're looking for the perfect scrotum.
Yes.
They want to beautify.
Well, first they have to establish a baseline.
Well,
that seems to be the problem.
Yes, we can't seem to do that. Smoother, less hair, no hair.
Well, I think the hair thing, I absolutely blame on online porn. 100%.
Yeah. Well, but hasn't that gone the other way now?
No, I don't think it has.
I think
it hasn't.
For women.
No.
All right.
Women might have a little little stripe or something, but no, it's hairless seems to be pretty popular.
The predominant look.
Yeah.
Well, there's a place for everybody, I guess.
But you know what? I'm going to go right to the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology.
All right. So you're going to take a scientific approach. Please do, because what I read was that there's absolutely no actual benefit.
Well, and there's no baseline. They still haven't agreed. The article that I shall refer to keep this totally scientific and professional.
All right.
Is the title of the article, first of all, The Scrotum, a comparison of men's and women's aesthetic assessments.
Oh, well, good. They had to ask women too.
This is written by the way, this is written by 2 women and a man.
All right.
I noticed the man is the only one with a PhD, though. Just thought I'd point that out. Anyway, the background. Cosmetic surgery is a growing trend. Opportunities for an individual to attain their personal aesthetic ideal via plastic surgery has now extended as far as the genital area. Yay.
Yes.
Adaptive surgery on intimate areas of the body may take place for physical complaints, but may instead be due to a desire to conform to a particular ideal. Breast operations, labia reductions, and penis lengthening are all long-established interventions, the motives for which a number of previous studies have examined. Tightening of the scrotum, by contrast, a new trend in the aesthetic surgery market.
Well, but I read an article, and in 2017, that procedure was only $575. I wonder what it is today.
But think about it. When you go in to get like new boobs, they give you like a showroom book where you can actually look at the boobs and decide which style of boob you want.
Is wrinkle free to lessen the wrinkles.
You know, how can I make my lip? What can my lips look like? Well, here's a book. There's 50 sets of lips in there. You pick the lip you want. We think we can do it. And it's funny though, because when I got a new knuckle for my finger, they didn't seem to get that one quite right. But
it's not as important a feature.
True.
No, the scrotum is a vital important.
But we're talking about how it looks, not how it functions.
Well, doesn't it all go together?
No.
No.
This is all about aesthetics.
All right.
How does it look?
Well, it needs to be smooth. It needs to be
they have to come
fresh.
up with a baseline.
Well, you can't.
But that's what this whole move is for.
One will always hang
because
a little lower
if you don't have a baseline, you can't establish surgical procedures. And so, according to the aim of this study is to compare men's and women's evaluation of various sizes of scrotums to the end of assisting people opting to undergo this procedure and taking decisions on visual preference.
Okay.
So
that's not very interesting.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting.
So they're going to show men and women pictures.
Correct.
And they're going to find the happy medium.
Thank goodness this is a audio podcast because I have the pictures.
I'm sure you have photos.
I do.
And make comparisons until it's just like when you get your glasses, right? They keep showing you lenses and you go, that one, no, not that one. Yes, that one.
Hang on, though. This is where it gets interesting. I like scientific studies because I like how they try to fix everything. Okay. The participants in this study rated a number of photographs of scrotums, that is hilarious, in 9 different lengths and widths, completed a questionnaire whose aim was to determine whether assessments differed by gender. Further, we considered whether the variables of age, extroversion, openness to experience, and consumption of pornography influenced participants' evaluations. Results. We found no significant differences in the evaluation of the aesthetics of scrotums in relation to any of these personality traits.
Did they pick the same ones?
It turns out it was variable. It was completely variable.
So everybody had their
difference.
own preference.
Yeah. And then
so we need to leave that shit alone.
The aesthetics of the scrotum is little explored. I think I know why. In this study, only normal deviations were considered with one standard adjustment. Further studies should consider extremes. Ultimately, we've decided that it's barely possible to identify a beautiful scrotum. Okay. We must instead speak of the least ugly scrotum.
Oh, how!
So these are people who've come to the determination that I've already come to, which is scrotums are kind of ugly.
Well, but in that's their beauty, right? I mean, in their uniqueness and in everybody's own opinion, then maybe that's the one pure thing we have. True. It depends on it. Beauty is in the eye of the sack holder.
There you go.
If I'm
just saying that of all of the things that are taboo.
Yes. Well, I don't. It shouldn't be.
No, but my point is, you can talk about boobs, you can talk about vaginas, you can talk about all this. Nobody ever goes, you know what I really, really want? I want a beautiful, smooth scrotum.
Well, but they do now because marketers have forced it into the public limelight. And because of that, men in their 30s have begun to buy sack spray.
Tightening. It's all about tightening.
Well, I'm talking about just superficial stuff that doesn't cost as much.
Well, it turns out that scrotum surgery is reasonable compared to...
Yeah, well, that's what I said.
Much like clothing.
Yes, you have your level.
Men's surgery is cheaper.
Absolutely.
But what they came up with was that most men, when going in for scrotal surgery, what they are looking for is, in fact, a pulling up.
They just want a lifting.
They want to lift.
That's really what most women want with a breast job as well. They want a lifting.
A lifting.
Yes.
We want to defy the laws of nature
gravity
and the laws of physics.
So for a superficial fix, though, you can, and it apparently improves your confidence. And all the advertisements for all these sack sprays, gels, talcs, salves, whatever the
of
hell
which
else,
they have all of them.
They do have all of them, and you can go and read some really hysterical reviews at Amazon for some of these products.
Oh yeah.
However, the ultimate goal is to smell better and to feel more confident, and men don't have to perform the same functions anymore.
Well, but men are still considered to, it's
part of the wussifying is the theory of the writer.
But as we know from the bodybuilder that we listen to, used to be people would say, don't do steroids because they'll make your balls smaller. Well, it turns out they look at that as a bonus.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Because then it makes all the rest of the junk look bigger by comparison.
So that's their thought process.
That's their thought process.
Actually, his message was, don't do what I do.
Yeah.
Just don't do this.
Don't work out like this.
It's a sick addiction,
It really
and no, it's not worth it.
And he can't scratch his own back.
And no, he was very freakish. I don't know why women would be. I don't know. That's it's not for me, is what I'm going to say.
And of course, doing the research for this podcast, and yes, we did research.
Oh, I've got all kinds of stuff you're not letting me say.
Oh, well, go ahead. Give me some.
Top company, Manscaped. That's the top dog in the groin upkeep business. $300 million in sales last year.
$300 million.
And that's just one company. They're going public.
They're going pubic?
They're going pubic. Trimming your ball sack is main character energy. Their mission is to move men forward on a global scale and spark a movement to unlock men's confidence, allowing them to lead their best lives, according to Paul Tron.
I'm just kind of terrified of having razor blade down there?
Well, the guy that started it said that he was upset. He had sheer frustration with the lack of proper tools to trim himself. So his flagship product is called the lawnmower.
The lawnmower.
Yes, he has many testicular upkeep products: the crop cleanser, crop preserver, crop exfoliator, crop gel, crop reviver, crop mop ball, butt and body wipes.
Wow.
Ooh, that was rough.
Man, they are all about the genitals.
Yes, and you should. They started really with the idea. Well, it's a damp, moist area, right? So for hygiene purposes.
Well, it is, and
but
it
that
isn't.
didn't work. That didn't market to men.
No.
Men didn't buy it. You know what they had to do? They had to go sarcasm. They had to go humor. And they started using all the euphemisms and all the clever names. And Manscaped actually became the official urinal sponsor at the San Francisco 49ers Stadium for 2 seasons.
You got to use humor. Look, if you think that I don't walk into a class during the week of testing and at some point go, all right, testes. And in my head, I'm laughing.
But they don't.
They don't even know.
No. They also were partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society and Ball State University. And guess who their spokesperson is? Not a trans. No, sir. You got
some with balls.
They got Pete Davidson, America's most boinked bachelor.
Hey, there you go.
That's the face of their company. So clever marketing. Men ate it up.
Yep.
Lapped
absolutely.
It.
If you can put humor to it, we're going there.
Yeah, the men are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't just keep going and peeing in a urinal and seeing that message.
I went a different way. I was stuck in the science thing, and so as I was researching scrotums, I was really impressed with the sheer beauty of how it operates. How fast, for instance, the cells respond. It is. In your body,
incredibly sensitive.
It's extremely sensitive to temperature.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's outside of your body.
And almost every man's left is bigger than their right.
Yeah, hangs lower.
Wonder why that is. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's weird.
I don't know. Dominant side. Well, that's not your dominant side generally, though. I don't know about that one.
And so it's the most temperature sensitive part of your body. For its operation. I mean, I guess if you get really, really cold, your body would probably just go, oh, well, it's got to go. keep your brain going. But it's tucked it's one of the only parts of your body that's located, well, technically outside your body.
Yeah.
Muscle cells contract when it's cold, causing it to get all wrinkly.
They all know.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows. Well, if you don't know, you do now.
No, our listeners know. They're adults.
Heat and relaxes, and so then everything. But the big problem now, of course, is that with increasing age comes the sag.
The slack sack. Well, that's why the popularity of the surgery and the
gravity.
So do you think that is part of it? Men do start to feel less confident. And that's true.
Well, I have a feeling that the first time you sit on the toilet and you feel cold water hit your scrotum, you're thinking about how to bring it up.
That is not happening.
Duct tape.
That
duct tape.
That really led to part of the history, too, of just deodorants in general, because obviously it was women that all of this was first marketed to. I mean, this is all...
Speaking of women... They generally have no opinion on scrotums. They had to work to find women.
Well, yeah, because
women don't care.
I don't care.
They don't care.
It's not really doing anything. They're just hanging there.
There's so many things I could say right now.
You can tickle, you can stroke, you can run nails across.
No, stay away.
But that's not the focus.
Yeah, they're there.
It's secondary.
It's kind of like your nose. It's just there.
Until it causes you trouble. And then it's everything. So, 1910, right? We know that in the 20s, really, marketing, billboards, all of that, I've been going on about that since I started Gatsby, right? So deodorants for women, 1910s.
Well, deodorants for everybody.
Well, no, they peddled that idea to women who didn't use them and convinced them that they would be cast out of polite society, right? It's society where they couldn't even vote, but they'd be cast out if they didn't use this deodorant. So that's how they marketed it to women, making them feel bad, of course. About that same time and for several decades later, vaginal douches, right? Ooh. A necessary hygienic thing to keep
Wait, are we
clean.
going from scrotums?
Well, I think we are because the same areas and it's really the marketing and how they're making a fortune off of our vajayjays and our.
Well, I have some history
hoo-has.
on that as well, but my history is
well, yeah, you can go there in just a minute because this is how we got to the men, right? About the Great Depression. Then they started thinking
when their balls got depressed.
Everybody was depressed. Maybe if we can make these balls look better, we'll all be
men's
happier.
Balls never looked harder for work.
Well, so women had to have vaginal juice or douches, not juices. They had to have juices too because nothing works without that. It's necessary hygiene. All right, you got to keep clean because you have to be acceptable to be courteous to your male partner, right?
Right.
Yeah, men can't stand that.
Apparently, a bath isn't enough.
No, well, I don't know how they were living then. So women have, of course, lived under
I had a grandparent who grew up in the Depression, and they would take a bath in like 3 inches of water.
Yes, exactly. You're taking a whore
it's not
bath.
Enough.
It's a whore bath. Maybe one.
Are you calling my grandma a whore?
I don't know what your grandma lived like. I can't say. Didn't know the woman, so
my grandmother was a noble woman.
Really?
Well, I mean,
you don't know.
She's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so
she gave me candy. Anyway,
hey, little boy, come here.
That's not no. Ooh, stop that.
Hey, there's a niche for that too.
I'm trying to keep this scientific and
well,
professional.
I'm trying to get to the misogynistic men.
Oh, you want to attack men?
Who were pushing this on women, who caused women to live under this capitalistic, misogynistic.
Oh,
edict.
You're a communist too. Oh
yes,
man, we are learning so much today about
to smell like a woman. Right? We're not supposed to smell. Nothing about a woman is supposed to smell.
Nothing.
Well, that was the idea that they marketed to women in that.
What about their hair?
Well, if it's going to smell good, but women didn't wash their hair a lot.
Let me call Joe Biden and talk to him about smelling women's hair.
Well, we know how he feels about that.
I do too, but I just don't smell other women's hair.
So that men haven't always been, free to, at that time, they could be their natural selves. Before the Great Depression, most men considered it unmanly or sissified to mask their natural musk. But then they started getting advertising directed at men. It began warning them that unleashing their stench in the workplace would threaten their livelihoods. So I guess those are the white-collar men.
Everybody knows that women love B.O.
Blue-collar men didn't give a flip, but the white-collar men.
Well, by the way, can we say that most people didn't make enough money to afford any of this stuff?
No, that's why I said that's marketing to white collar men in shirts and ties, and you got to wear those damn coats. And they wore that monkey suit all the time, no AC,
extra layers.
My kids are looking at Gatsby, going, "God, why are they all so sweaty?"
It's because they had to wear 5 layers of clothes.
Because they had to wear all those clothes, and there's no AC.
We need to go back to a better time when men wore 5 layers of hot clothing without air conditioning.
A stiff neck.
Yeah.
A stiff upper lip and
do you remember those commercials for what was the Whisk detergent where they would show the woman scrubbing the collar of her man's shirt?
All right.
That's what was going on, right? Those men weren't getting clean enough, so they were disgusting necks.
Nasty men.
These are white collar men. What were they doing that their necks got so filthy?
I don't know. I don't want to know. Anyhow, so money. You don't, and you go to Walmart and you go down an aisle and you smell BO. It's like,
that's right, dollars.
Oh,
the devil's lettuce.
I've been violated, and then you yourself are led over to the deodorant, and body powder and body soap and all that because you don't want to be offensive to society.
And there is a small percentage of people now who purposely don't clean up and don't use anything because they think it's natural. But
the ball thing, when women, they don't have an opinion about the look of it, but I'll bet they would have an opinion about the smell of it.
Well, maybe so.
If they had asked them not to see them in a picture, but to smell ball sack scent.
They must have ball deodorant, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like stick?
Oh, do you want me to name?
Because spray would be too cold.
No, there's spray.
No.
Oh, of course there's spray.
No, you can't use that after you shave.
Well, I guess you wouldn't use it in that order. In fact, the guy that did all the study on all of these and tried all of them, he was some of them came in with no directions, and some of them had directions, and he was griping about the ones that had no directions. He was. A
you need directions.
You want to know
to put deodorant on your
Yeah. Well, no, because there are so many products. It's like you have to do them in a certain order and such. So I'm sure you don't put something stingy
why don't the guy,
after
why
you
didn't the guy
shave.
just say we're trying to turn these men into women?
Well, there's a lot of that in this article. This guy, what's his name, that wrote this book? Richard Reeves wrote a book called Of Boys and Men, Why the Modern Male is Struggling, Why It Matters, and What to Do About It. And it's a really sobering account.
Turn them into women.
Well, the male malaise. Now, and we've been kind of talking about these things in other podcasts. Boys today are dropping out of high school at almost twice the rate of girls. They represent only 40% now of college graduates, and I think college is going to dwindle a bit anyway. The typical American man earned less in 2019 adjusted for inflation than he did in 1979.
Well, that's corporate greed.
Well, a fifth of fathers don't live with their children. Men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women.
Because they didn't douche.
Shut up. Not putting that on me. It is not that men have fewer opportunities, it's that they're not taking them. So he seems to think that people assume individual men are at fault for failing to thrive, but he says the crisis of masculinity arises from structural changes, how they've shifted. Like right now in education, what's the big shift? STEM. Right.
Well, no, now they're starting to go away from it now.
Well, exactly. We keep doing these back and forth little pendulum swings as opposed to being in the middle and balanced with everything. You don't know where a kid's going to go, so you can't just push one thing. And I would agree. They focus so hard on women and girls for a while that guys kind of got left in the, and now they're being manscaped.
I think you're right.
Now they're turning into oh dear God, we're all going to die.
Oh, you see what's happening.
Yeah, they're taking away our baby making. Yeah. We need to get some Barry White playing and
oh yeah.
Oh baby.
Oh baby.
Yes. All right. So people, y'all need to get to it.
That's terrible.
What?
Just all of it. Just everything.
So we need to protect those balls, keep the sperm healthy, and guys, get out there.
We need to be like women were in the early 1900s when women had the proper things to use for like douche.
Well, for all this hygiene, what did we have?
And Lysol.
No, Lysol was to clean your floors.
No, it wasn't. I think you ladies will appreciate this. And of course, I think you ladies really want a male voice to talk about this. So here we go. It turns out that the most popular brand of douche prior to 1953 was Lysol. It was an antiseptic soap whose pre-1953 formula contained cresol, a phenol compound reported in some cases to cause inflammation, burning, and even death.
What?
Yeah, 1911, 193 Lysol poisonings and 5 deaths from uterine irrigation. That's a douche. Despite reports to the contrary, Lysol was aggressively marketed to women as safe and gentle.
I see it from the 30s through the 60s, 30 years of them pushing that shit on women.
Once Cresol was replaced with orthohydroxydiphenyl in the formula, Lysol was pushed as a germicide, good for cleaning toilets and treating ringworm, and as to help women get a dainty feminine allure.
A dainty
I'm
feminine
using their own ads here, by the way.
I wonder did it actually smell like the Lysol? Like, it can't. That couldn't have been the scent.
I don't know.
Please, Lord.
But their ad, dainty feminine allure.
My Lord. Yeah, here, look. In 1930, they were pushing it as a birth control method, and, well, it didn't work.
But it was all false advertising because they actually, people believed that it would keep you from getting pregnant.
Yeah, what does it do
So women
to
would
sperm?
have unprotected sex and then immediately douche with Lysol.
It reduces the movement of sperm cells.
It probably messes them up.
Yeah, but it does. So you're going to have
how many weird,
special baby.
Yeah, 10 to.
Oh,
I just can't even.
Okay. Yeah, no, I see the ads here.
But the advertising, the newspaper advertising, is phenomenal. I encourage everyone to go look up Lysol as douche ads.
Oh, this is they're
amazing.
This is in the Smithsonian magazine. Lysol's vintage ads subtly pushed women to use its disinfectant
One of my
as
favorites,
birth control.
Yeah, one of my favorites is it's got a woman and she's like in a spider web, and her husband's just reading the paper, and it says she was held in a web of indifference. And then the next one, she's sitting on his lap, and he's smiling and says, "But I broke through it thanks to Lysol."
Smithsonian Institute. Yeah, I see it. Oh my Lord.
The other one was, she was a perfect wife, except for one neglect. We know what that neglect was. Her vajayjay. Said she was lovely. Always took care to look smart and fresh. She was efficient. Her house was always clean. She was economical. She knew how to make a budget behave. She was affectionate. She was all warm-hearted and tender. But her husband's just like looking at a book like, get away from me.
I don't want you anywhere near me because you smell, lady.
And she was cheerful. She never nagged or wept.
Or what?
But she was careless or ignorant, it says in small letters, about feminine hygiene.
Oh, so the ignorant part gives us an out so we can be
And then it says educated. An asterisk, and it says her husband would gladly have traded most of her virtues to correct this one fault.
So she could have cried all the time if she just didn't smell so bad.
She stank like a French whore.
Oh,
and there's bunches of these.
It's really
there's
important.
So many of these.
It's really important that things have changed. What? That's ridiculous.
What? No, I'm just impressed that Lysol made the switch.
Oh, that they were able to keep their company working and go to a floor
There's
product.
one here with a woman with a kid on her lap. She's crying. You see the guy behind her going out the door, and it says, "Another love match shipwrecked on the dangerous reef of half-truths about feminine hygiene. Lysol could have prevented this tragedy."
Oh, my God. So they just fear. They just caused women to be afraid.
One of their advertising things was, "It never needs a poison label."
What?
It never needs
vagina?
No, Lysol. That's their advertising hook.
Oh,
it never has to be slapped with the sticker that says poison.
Then they would be out of business today because of fear. They're just using fear.
Yes.
It's wrong.
But anyway, so Lysol.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm going to have to think twice now when I go buy a floor cleaning product. I might not buy Lysol.
It's a dessert topping. It's a floor wax.
Saturday Night Live knew. That's probably what they were doing, actually. So,
all right. So anyway,
if you feel like you could use a boost in confidence,
then you know what you need to do.
It's 2023. There is no shame. Just like everything else, talk about your feelings.
Go get the plastic surgery.
Get your surgery. Get your ball lift. Whatever makes you feel better.
Girth. You can get girth.
You know why? Because you've got to treat yourself.
Yeah.
You have got to treat yourself. Life is hard. They're about to have Mom's Day.
It's probably harder when you're infesting yourself with Lysol.
We're not doing that anymore, G-Long. We have progressed. When you know better, do better.
Oh.
And that's what we've done.
All right. Well, I can
are standing up. What?
I can do a complete search or a complete turn to a completely different
to wrap
topic.
Us up. So
I can't. A Louisiana thing.
Oh, and it's going to be is it going to redeem us from our JJ and ball sack discussion?
Well, probably not, because many of these people in Baton Rouge are in fact
ball sacks
and douches. So it's connected.
It is. They're like a bag of assholes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Douches.
Do what you got to do, G.
Okay. Well, as you know, recently they've been pushing for a pay raise for teachers.
They have.
And I will be the first to admit I wouldn't turn it down. I'm not pushing for it, but at the same time,
if you offer
if they offered it to me, it would help. It would help defray the cost of my insurance that went up by 25%,
and my medical insurance, my car insurance,
all
everything.
Of it. Well,
our community knows.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that the House has approved a new budget without the $2,000 teacher pay raise.
Yes.
And so many people who aren't teachers are like, well, that's fine. I don't get a $2,000 a year pay raise. And I hear you, fellow citizen. But here's where I run into a problem, because at the same time that they have turned down a pay raise for teachers, they passed a bill that will call for a new raise for legislators.
Say what?
Yeah, you heard that right. And this raise will be approximately 75%.
Oh, shit. I could go with that.
Now, currently, I will agree they're paid low.
All right.
But most of them have money when they get there. But currently, they get $16,800 a year. Remember, they're not working there full-time all year.
Yeah, no, it's just a part-time gig.
Per diem raises that tremendously.
Yeah, because they get a place to stay and food and travel.
And granted, again, it hasn't changed for a long time. Sure, fine, whatever. But now they want to raise it to $50,000.
Oh,
from 16 to 50.
That's a hell of a job.
They voted down that crazy 75,000.
Because it would look bad.
Right. They also, by the way, are going to increase their per diem, so they'll get even more money
for their perks.
Yes. And so this is my favorite, though. This is one legislator. Service is about sacrifice. We know that when we run.
Yeah. Oh, I feel so bad for you, Chef Baby.
Another one says, we can't expect good people to run for office if they can't make any money doing it.
They're not.
But they're all already making enough money to run for office.
Somebody supported that campaign because campaigns are not cheap.
Another legislator said, look, it's clear that our legislature is not doing a very good job. But we're going to keep getting the same results if we keep doing the same things.
So give us a raise and we'll do better.
This is a guy that's already there saying, look, I know we've done a shitty job.
I haven't been a good employee to you.
And if I don't get a raise, I'm going to continue doing a shitty job.
So give me some motivation.
So give me money.
Damn. That's bold. It's just bold. Fuck. Oh, excuse me.
No. Hey, man, you know what? I think it's crazy when you consider that they just said, up yours, teachers. They didn't even come back with like
a counter.
You're supposed to haggle.
I know. Well, no.
You say 2,000, I say 1,200. You say 1,000, and we're done.
He started at 3. They put in at 2. So in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, we may get 1.
Republican leaders say, well, look, the reason we're not giving teachers more money is because we're going to give more money to local school boards.
Yes, and we're going to allow them to give it to the teachers.
Well, if you think they're going to give us the money, please.
No, that's not going there either.
No.
And of course, in the end, firefighters, policemen, everybody, all public servants, not, oh, dear Lord. Okay.
House Speaker pro tempore, I have to go here, supported Marino's bill for this giant raise. He said, I want to share a brief history lesson with all of you about the French Revolution.
About the French.
You mean where people like us went and killed people like you?
No.
One of the first actions of those who overthrew the monarchy was to give its members of its parliament a pay increase. First of all,
what?
Bullshit. There was no parliament in France when they overthrew the monarchy.
Maybe he read a different history.
Maybe he doesn't understand the word monarchy. Mono, one. How dare you, sir? And then this is the kind of people that are passing rules about what we need to teach.
Yes, because they know so much.
One of the first actions to overthrew the monarchy. Give Parliament a pay increase.
I think you need to give that man a little what for.
You know what? You know what he needs? He needs to have his scrotum lifted up and put over his head. There we go.
All right. Or blown up so big that he can bounce on it like it's a bouncy ball.
That's South Park.
Everything's South Park.
Everything is South Park now.
Yes.
Or Beavis and Butthead. Yeah.
All right. My kids don't get that one.
I know.
It's like, come on, Scarlett. You watched it all the time. Yeah, well, it wasn't funny then. Like
I almost scored.
It was funny then, and it's funny now.
The new ones.
He did.
Beavis almost scored with an 80-year-old.
But
until her husband.
She wasn't 80.
Until her husband caught her and beat the crap up with a cane. No, but she came on hard, man.
She did. She was pushing it. She was.
What do you call something older than a cougar? What's the next hierarchy?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't have that. I'm not that quick.
Well, you're still cougar. Right?
Oh, dear Lord. I don't know. All right. I thought you were going to end with the Jesus story, but I guess we're going out.
I forgot about that.
You were going to redeem us from our sinful ways.
About the Japanese.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Hang on.
We had to go out on Jesus. We started with.
Well, I almost did. I had a story about Yeezy. Because apparently they don't know what to do with the $1 billion worth of shoes. And
oh, wait, I saw a show about that.
Yeah, well.
Been watching a movie.
Well, you might think that Jesus Christ's story has been told.
You would.
But now.
Books have been written.
This summer, coming to a theater near you, the little-known legend of Jesus in Japan. Ding, 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 ding.
Jesus in Japan?
Yeah, that's right. A mountain hamlet in northern Japan claims Jesus is buried there.
Oh, well, what proof do they have, G?
I don't know. Probably none. What do you need proof for?
Well, it's a story. What?
On the flat top of a steep hill in a distant corner of northern Japan lies the tomb of an itinerant shepherd who, 2,000 years ago, settled down there to grow garlic.
Oh.
We know how hard that can be. It would take a Messiah to grow
garlic takes
garlic.
a long time to grow.
Apparently, he fell in love with a daughter named Miyuko, had 3 children, and died at the age of 106.
All right. And why do they
He's remembered by the name of Daitinku Taro Jurai. The rest of the world knows him as Jesus Christ. It turns out that Jesus of Nazareth, the Messiah, worker of miracles and spiritual figurehead for the world's foremost religions, did not die on the cross at Calvary, as has been widely reported.
Widely.
According to amusing local folk, according to these silly Japanese people, that was his kid brother, Isukiri, whose severed ear was interred in an adjacent burial mound in Japan.
What?
Yeah. Somehow or another, they think that he went to Japan.
How'd he get there?
He's Jesus. He can do what he wants.
Okay.
He's in charge. It's good to be the king.
Yes.
Anyway,
you get a gold carriage.
People come to this place, and it's way in the middle of nowhere.
And they come there and actually, so there's no actual.
They get between 20 and 70,000 pilgrims a year.
Oh, so it's like the Loch Ness Monster. They just say it so people come and
at the shrine, which is maintained, by the way, by the local yogurt factory, they shell out 100 yen entrance fee at the Legend of Christ Museum. And they sell Jesus coasters, Jesus coffee mugs, Jesus shirts.
Jesus yogurt.
Jesus yogurt, probably. What's it taste like? It tastes divine.
Oh, God. Okay.
Thank you. I'm here all week. So anyway, we're going to get emails. If we don't get emails for this episode, I don't know what episode we would. Doesn't say anything about his scrotum, so we're good there. Some participate in these.
I've seen his foreskin, though.
I know, right?
See?
But it's missing now.
It is missing. The foreskin.
The church went and got it.
Yes.
It's not in that church anymore. That is a story we should tell on this very podcast.
Okay.
But how did they know to save
the foreskin
from his circumcision?
Because they didn't know he was
just a baby.
But the 3 wise men.
The mom,
everybody. Yeah, no.
The mom.
No, it was already.
Oy vey, you better save the foreskin. He's going to be a big thing. You're
going to want that one day.
Some participate in the springtime Christ Festival. You know what? It's a better name than Pirate Festival. Anyway, a mashup of multi-denominational rites in which kimono-clad women dance around the twin graves. Because remember, his brother's there too.
Yes.
His ear
is there. His DNA.
And they chant a 3-line litany in an unknown, obscure language.
So they don't even...
Unknown, obscure. If nobody knows it, by default, it's obscure.
A redundant.
The ceremony, which is designed to console the spirit of Jesus, why does he need to be consoled? He's in charge. Has been staged by local tourism bureaus since 1964.
Yeah, this is a Loch Ness case. This is all to draw tourists.
And, what's weird is only about 1% of the people who go actually identify as Christian. They are mostly Buddhists.
Well, I would think they would have respect.
They say the festival allows you to have a feeling of closeness to both Jesus and Buddha and many, many other divine figures without any of the obligations that come from obeying a single religion.
Well, that's nice then. It's very free and it's very inclusive, and it's probably a beautiful location.
Here we go. In Shingo, the greatest story ever told is told exactly this way. Jesus first came to Japan at the age of 21 to study theology. This was during his lost years.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
A 12-year gap unaccounted for in the New Testament. He landed at the west coast of Japan, a spit of land that juts across the bay, and became a disciple of a great master near Mount Fuji, learning the Japanese language and Eastern culture. At 33, he returned to Judea by way of Morocco to talk up what a museum brochure calls the sacred land he had just visited. Mm-hmm. And then he ran afoul of Roman authorities. He was arrested and condemned to crucifixion. But he cheated the executioners by trading places with the unsung, if not unremembered, Usakiri, his brother. Why was his brother Japanese?
Yeah, and
to escape persecution, Jesus fled back to Japan with 2 keepsakes.
His brother's ear.
And a lock of the Virgin Mary's hair.
So his brother sacrificed himself for him. How very
Listen how
Christ-like.
He got there, though. He trekked across Siberia to Alaska. That's 6,000 miles, by the way. And then came to Japan from Alaska. Upon reaching the village, he retired to a life in exile, adopted a new identity, and raised a family.
So he didn't really sacrifice himself. He sacrificed his brother.
He sported a balding gray pate, a coat of many folds and colors. Coat of many colors.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite, he had a very distinctive nose, which gave him the reputation as a long-nosed goblin. They're making fun of a Jewish nose right off the bat. Anyway, when he died, the body was left exposed on the hilltop for 4 years. In keeping with the customs of the time, his bones were then bundled up and buried in a grave, the same mound of earth that is now topped by the timber cross and surrounded by a picket fence.
Huh.
Though he performed no miracles, one could be forgiven whether he turned water into sake.
Oh, boo. Who wrote this article? Where did this appear?
Smithsonian Magazine.
Oh, okay. What year? When was this written?
You got me. 2013.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so if you've ever wondered where Jesus went, apparently he went to Japan.
Or if you just would like to go to Japan and see a beautiful spot and maybe make a personal connection.
I like to.
It's still cheaper to get some bowl deodorant.
They're asking a Catholic priest in Japan
what he thinks
of the story, and his answer is perfect. I don't know. They said, "Do you think it could have happened?" He goes, "Anything could happen.
Anything." I'm dealing in the Lord. Anything can happen.
Do you know what we're telling people?
I know.
Have you been around?
Anything's possible. All right, G.
Yeah.
All right, that's better. See, we redeemed ourselves some.
I don't know if it was enough.
If they tune in, they tune in.
You know what? Yeah. If they're mad, you know what? If you're angry, you put that in your sack.
All right, community. I don't think he's really that aggressive towards you.
No, I'm not.
No, because we love our community.
No, blessed are the listeners of the Long in the Boot podcast. For they shall inherit the earth.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Your hands are empty. I don't know.
These hands are empty?
Yes,
what?
Those hands are empty.
But they could hold something higher. Or I could get a surgery to... Anyway.
You can just wrap that up. How are you going to wrap it up?
In a sack?
Yeah, all right. Is it a quiver? Is a quiverful sack?
Put all your troubles in your old ball bag
you
and
need to
smile,
cut this.
smile,
You need to cut this. We've gone on too long. All right, G Long, how are we going to get out of here?
Well, I guess what we're going to have to do is let you say your little catch.
Say my little
say
line.
Your little catchphrase.
It has nothing to do with a sack.
And then I'll play a song.
All right.
And we'll. I never did play the Bill Maher thing. Oh well, that's a downer. We're not going to do that now.
We don't need any downers. You know why? Your joy. That's the thing that you take with you. It's portable.
That's right.
Just like your sack. Take it with you, people.
And don't forget to wash.
Every day.
Every day.
my quest to achieve the perfect scrotum.
Yes.
Just like the word scrotum.
Scrotum.
Okay, then now I have to. Let's see the etymology.
Testimony. Testify.
Now I want to know, when was it first used? I don't need an image. Definition, cancer. Can I just get a definition of the word?
Scrotum. Actually, you want the etymology.
Yeah, the etymology. I know. I'm working on it. Scrotal. Scrota for more than one.
Mm-hmm.
Scrota. The external pouch that in most mammals contains the testes.
In most male mammals.
It just says mammals. It doesn't say
it's
male.
Everywhere. God, you can't get away from it. It's like climate change and
example
temperature
sentence.
Increase.
I don't need an example sentence. I know how to use it.
Nobody needs an example sentence of the word scrotum.
Hugh Grant, in a joke, compared his skin to a scrotum.
There you go. That's what we're talking about.
Enjoy the case of the haunted scrotum.
Ooh, that sounds...
Okay, but that's not giving me the...
It's not giving you what you need, baby.
First known use, 1597.
Scrotum.
Latin, akin to scratum, quiver. Quiver. So use the like scrotum sac from an animal to create
so you're firing
a quiver.
little arrows into the woman.
And see, I take it to mean like a quiver to hold arrows.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The scrotum is a human quiver.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's sort of like that hardcore right-wing quiverful movement.
Right? Yeah, I guess that is a connection.
That's exactly the same thing.
Okay, so 1597.
You make lots and lots of babies, make them hardcore Christians, and then fire them into the world.
Yes.
Like semen.
All right. Well, there you go. 1597. All right.
And if a woman uses, like some type of device to prevent issue or to prevent impregnation, then it's like a little trampoline, and the little scrotums can bounce up and down and have a good time. Like Robin Williams said.
Okay. I do recall that routine.